Hello, Team United Fashionistas, and welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Dr. Shayla Sumra. I am currently a fashionista with Paparazzi Accessories, and today we're going to be talking about what exactly are your DMOs and how to establish effective DMOs to make sure that you are getting the most out of your business. So come on in and welcome everybody. Hello. All right. So we're going to start with a presentation first, and then we will also take questions. So as you come on in, let's talk. Hello, Andrea. Thank you so much for having me. Hello, hello. Hey, Jennifer. Yes, make sure you are tagging and inviting your team members. Yay! Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, and then we are going to get into a really good, juicy conversations about how do you establish those daily methods of operations. Hello, hello, welcome from Florida. Come on in. All righty, and I'll pull that right on up. How is everybody doing? And I'll go ahead and begin because I want to start on time for you guys. So welcome. All right. So let's first start talking about what actually is a DMO. So a DMO is a daily methods of operations. And the reason why we have DMOs is to make sure that we are effectively using and managing our time. We want to spend the most of our time being productive within our business, making sure that we have created a balance within our life, and that we are doing things that are income producing. I actually started personally with a DMO about a year and a half ago. I saw one of Andrea's trainings, and on the training, it was amazing that I started actually taking notes of how to effectively manage and spend my time. As my business began growing, I needed to learn how am I going to spend my time where I'm creating that balance with my family, as well as working with my business, dealing with self-care, managing a team. How are those things possible while still conducting day-to-day activities? All right. I am currently still working a full-time job. I am almost Life of the Party Black Diamond. And again, I am a fashionista, so I have a full plate. So I have to make sure when establishing those DMOs, the time management is one of those things that you do because you want to be productive and you want to make sure that everyone has an equal share. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about why are DMOs important. When we are creating DMOs for you as well as your team, we want to make sure that we are taking into consideration the balance in our life that is necessary. Having those honest conversations with ourselves. What are you actually doing every day? We know that when we talk to people about the business, one of the things that are always the scariest things for people, number one excuse is we don't have time. Time is what you make it. It's looking at your entire schedule from when you get up in the morning all the way to when you go to bed at nighttime. And then looking at the pockets of times of what you are doing and is it being productive? We want to make sure we not only have great days, but we have productive days. All right. So when we do that, we want to consider a few things. This may be new to a lot of people if they've never dealt with direct sales, or if they've never dealt with marketing, or if they've never dealt with team building. So these are things that establishing a DMO is going to help you because you want to make sure that you are doing these activities that are going to give you or glean productive measures within your business. All right. So now let's talk about, as a leader, how does establishing these DMOs help you with your team? You want to make sure that you're looking at the characteristics of your team members. What are their strengths? What areas do they need help with? What are your areas that you may feel that are strengths for you to share with your team? And looking at other team members. If there's a strength that you may see in someone else, allowing them to lead those as well. So you want to allow those characteristics to shine through someone's DMO because it's going to create a strong and productive team. All right. Yes. Drop the word DMO. Thank you. Yes. In the comments. We're going to talk about those things or those ideas that should be on your DMO to make sure that your DMOs are effective. All right, now let's start looking at what are some goals of a DMO. It is, of course, most of all, a way for you to create that balance and create consistent business practices that are income producing. What does that mean? When we are in a business that is a multi-level marketing business or direct sales, everything that we do should be productive, and everything that we should do should always be a way for us to earn additional income. So when we are creating DMOs, we have to start looking at, is this going to benefit me? Is this going to benefit my business? Is this benefiting my lifestyle that I am trying to accomplish? Those are the questions that you ask when creating those DMOs. When creating those DMOs, there's a couple of things that we can do. You can actually use a DMO 3 methods. Method number 1 is using a regular calendar, paper calendar, or agenda book. Writing things down gives you a plan when you have already created those goals. So utilizing either an agenda or a planner that is a physical written one if you are a paper to pen type of person, because if you just have something that's an idea, then it just is going to stay there as an idea. If you have a goal that you want to implement and create those practices and measures to help you establish those DMOs, then you want to make sure that you're writing those down so you can effectively create a plan. The second way that you can create a DMO is electronically. There are so many different ways where you can take a physical calendar, and it can actually be one that is downloaded to your electronic device. And I'll actually show you one of mine because I'm a paper to pen type of person, but because I'm trying to learn to be more eco-friendly, I actually have downloaded, and these are really, really simple. You can get one of these from any online website where you actually can have a physical calendar downloaded for you. So I'm going to go to one of the months. There it goes. All right. And where you can actually still write on these. So you can download a digital calendar or a digital planner and still be able to write on them. The third way you can do this is by using the calendar within your phone. Now, the benefit to using electronic devices to establishing your DMOs is because now you're able to set alarms, because when we are creating these habits, we want to make sure that we're creating consistent habits in order for us to be successful. Using an electronic device is going to be useful for you because you want to make sure that you're able to set alarms in order for it to be successful. So I'll show you what my calendar looks like. All right. And as you can see, my calendar is done by days, hours, and then color coded. All right. The reason why I want to be able to identify each of my income producing activities is because I want to be able to identify what areas am I focusing on. So when I review my DMO, I want to look at how successful was it. If it was successful, what producing activities can I enhance? If it's something that I didn't do well on, how can I actually review those? All right. So those are the 3 ways of how you can actually establish and create a DMO. I highly suggest that you utilize either a digital one or your calendar, because that way you'll be able to set alarms. Now let's start talking about some of the things that should be included when thinking of your DMO. Step number 1, you've got to look at what are your long-term and short-term goals. When you're looking at your goals for your DMOs, you want to look at what are my goals that I'm trying to establish by a certain amount of time, and then break it down to short-term goals. What am I trying to establish this month? Now, when we look at our short-term goals, this is where writing it down has become effective. Now we have to create a daily action plan in order for us to achieve those goals. What does that mean? It means that now that we have looked at what our goal is, we have to put practices in place on a daily and consistent basis in order for us to reach those goals. A lot of times when we look at the goals in mind, we're forgetting the steps that it takes to get to that goal. If you focus on the effective steps that you are taking consistently, your goal will happen. All right? So now let's look at some of the things of what should actually be on your DMO. So again, the first thing is establishing your goals, long-term goals, short-term goals for the month, and now let's establish some practices in order to help you get those DMOs rolling. All right? First of all, you want to look at what does your actual day look like when you are goal setting. If you work a full-time job, what are your hours that you are working? Do you have a family? What are some times that you spend specifically with your family? What are some activities that you have to have in place on a regular basis? Because you want to make sure that you are establishing your business around the most important measures of your life. Again, DMOs are effective because it helps you create a balance in your life. Now, once you've looked at your daily routine, you want to be honest with yourself. How much time are you actually spending being productive? And those are the areas where we are going to establish additional means of practices of where you can have income producing activities. Once you're done doing that, now let's looking at how you can effectively spend your time. A DMO is established on a daily basis by blocking out individual times every day of when you are working on income producing activities. So if you wake up at 7 in the morning, your DMOs are going to start there. If you go to bed at 12 at night, your DMOs are going to end there. It's everything within that time period that we are going to block out times of where we are going to be actually establishing our daily routine. Once we've established our blocks of time, here's some activities of what you should be including in your DMOs. Number one, you want to maximize your time, not wasting your time scrolling through social media. We want to make sure that we are spending our time on social media productively. What does that mean? There's two measures of which social media becomes our most effective tool. We are either looking for customers or we are looking for potentials within a business. Social media is a hands-on tool that is going to allow us to expand our reach because now we're focusing on two specific groups. When you are utilizing your time effectively on social media, you are marketing and branding yourself. What do those things look like? What time are you spending with your customers? And what time are you spending with your potentials? So when you are actually posting on social media, we want to focus on those two groups. Are you commenting on posts of your potentials and your customers? Are you advertising or posting about your business? Are you letting people know how they can either find you in a VIP group or on your business page? When you are utilizing your time effectively on social media, it is going to expand your reach, it is going to expand your network, and it's going to allow more people to see you in a spotlight. So now let's start looking at some of the topics that we want to cover in our DMOs. Once we start establishing those relationships and communication, what does that look like? Messaging people in Messenger specifically is going to help you build your algorithm. Also, commenting directly on people's posts are going to also positively affect your algorithm. Why do we want to do these things? The more positive hits that you get towards your algorithm, the more people that are going to be able to see your posts. This means that you are actually being proactive in what you're posting and how you're posting it in a measure of what the people you're trying to reach. Now let's talk a little bit about your potentials, expanding your reach and your networking. Joining additional groups on social media or even in person in your local community is going to help you expand your networking and your reach. It means that now you have an opportunity of where you are actually going to be interacting with people in a social setting who are going to get to know you for you. Join groups that you want to make sure that are things that you enjoy. If you enjoy cycling or swimming or home decorating, join those type of groups so that way you'll be able to interact and communicate with people, make new friends, expand your network. Then you're going to be able to allow them to either follow you on social media or you do the same. By doing that, now you're meeting an entirely new networking and marketing group. Those people are going to be able to come on your now personal page or your business page and see that you run a productive business, and that is going to spark an inquiry. We also want to look at when we are expanding our reach, looking at those interactions, making sure that we are in a good time frame, that our algorithm are perfectly aligned. Looking at currently, it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours of posting, but not also negating that we have to go back and respond to those posts on social media. Those are times that we need to build into our algorithm. So if you have to block out times within your DMOs of each 2-hour blocks or an hour and a half block of when you're going to be posting on social media, when do you react to people's posts on social media, when are you going to network on social media, those are things that you want to add into your DMOs, set an alarm for, and it's going to help program you that when you hear those alarms go off, stop, drop, and DMO. That way you are creating an effective practice or measure consistently. All right, now we need to look at creating themes. When you create themes in order for your DMOs, when you are posting or utilizing social media, it makes things so much easier for you. Whether it's a motivational Monday, a wear it Wednesday, a funky Friday, a set Saturday, all right? Those are things that your customers or your potentials are going to look forward to because now you are working on branding and marketing your business. When you create those themes, you also add those themes within your DMOs. It helps give you something to look forward to or to research in order for you to already have on hand. What I typically do is I create albums within my phone. And I go and I look up different pictures or images that I want to use for different types of posts. And I save them in that folder on my phone. So now when I have and that is a measure that I put in my DMOs. That's typically a Sunday for me. So in Sundays, I know that I need to go find images for the week. And so therefore, I can now block out that time frame for the next 30 minutes. I'm going to find images for the whole week. I'm going to set up my post in my VIP group or on my business page, utilizing tools that are going to be more effective for you, utilizing tools that allow you to set timers or to set posts and schedule posts in specific groups, are using your time more effectively. Putting those within your DMO is going to maximize your time where even if you get a little bit busy, you're still being effective on how you are managing that time frame. All right, creating those folders again within your phone is going to be perfect because now when you are utilizing your social media, you would have already had direct posts in order to use to pop into your social media. A lot of times why people forget to effectively post in their DMOs is because when that time frame occurs, they haven't actually thought about what is necessary in order for them to post. So they miss the time frame. You want to be able to utilize that time again for income producing activities. Now, let's start looking at what time frame are you setting for branding. Are you taking selfies? Are you posting lightbox pictures? Are you posting your website? Are you telling people when you are either going live or how they can actually find you on social media? Those are all measures of branding, including those in your DMOs. And when are you either posting about those? Are you sharing them in your stories? Those are things that you have to add to your DMO so people can see that you run a successful business. When you people are seeing that your business is successful and you constantly stay in the forefront and in the know of stylish, trendy things, they are going to be more likely to support you as a customer and a potential. Again, these are the two things that are actually the things that are running your business effectively. Now you need to establish in your DMOs what time frames are you using for invoicing, shipping, inventory. That's critical because those are the things that are going to be the driving force behind creating or establishing returning customers. When you establish effective shipping times, when you establish inventory times, a live schedule, your customers are going to know your routine. When we have businesses, everyone operates their business differently. You want your customers to know your habits and routines for your business so there's no question in their mind what to expect when they are shopping with you. You also want to have time that you are spending with communication, whether it's a follow-up email to your customers or to a potential. Follow-ups are very critical when dealing with multi-level marketing businesses because this is how we are going to create long-lasting relationships. Relationships in a business is what is going to establish support for you. So what time frames in your DMOs are you utilizing to communicate to establish those relationships? We also now want to keep in mind that balance that we're talking about in our DMO of self-care. What times are you taking for yourself? Do you do a morning run? Do you have time for meditation? Sit down and read a book. We want to establish that time frame where we take a break, rest, and relax. We always need to recharge on a daily basis because you can't pour from an empty cup. Every day within your DMOs, outside of sleeping, you should have some type of time where you are able to unwind, digress your day, and be able to just relax. This is going to allow you an opportunity for you to be able to refresh. This is going to allow you an opportunity to now be able to get other great ideas, to keep those relationships that are outside of your business going. You don't want to neglect your time of self-care because if you have a family, if you have children, you want to make sure that they are not feeling neglected as we continue to build our business. When we are building a brand, we are building a business, you're building an empire. It is extremely easy to get sucked in and consumed because we have a goal in mind. But those things in our life that we have for individuals that are important to us, we have to remember that those are the things that we are doing are why this business is successful, why we want to stay productive, why we want our business to prosper. We can't lose our relationships and our families in the process, so we have to build in time for them as well. We also need to build in time in your DMOs for professional development. Just like you're watching this training, this is going to really help you establish effective measures for your business. Blocking out that time frame for you to establish DMOs is critical because now you want to be able to build in your business. You want to expand your reach. If there's an area that you may not be a master at, master your craft by finding professional development trainings in order to assist you in those measures. You want to make sure when establishing a business, you are a master of your craft. By doing that, you got to block out times where you are utilizing and learning new information for you to be able to stay in the know. Especially if you are establishing a team, you want to be the forefront of their knowledge. Sharing those information with your team members also helps your team grow. Educating yourself within something that you are passionate about and that is going to be a monumental movement for you with your business is going to be critical in you establishing a strong foundation, not only for your team, but as well as for yourself. Now, let's talk about sticking to those DMOs. This is the sticky part for most people. When establishing a new routine, you have to be able to be consistent with that routine. So I urge you to stick with your DMOs for 30 days. It's going to be crazy. You may miss an event. It's okay. You want to make sure that when you're sticking with those DMOs, that way you are able to effectively and consistently create a habit. Studies show that by creating a consistent habit and practice over time, it then becomes a part of your routine. That is why it's important to consistently stick with it for 30 days. Not only that, it's going to allow you an opportunity for you to self-reflect at the end of the 30 days. What are the areas that you did well in? These are the areas that you can hone in on and you can help other business partners grow. What are the areas that you actually needed more help with your DMOs? These are the areas that now you have to re-look at your plan and establish a different method of how to utilize that. But you can say that you have actually effectively used a daily methods of operation. I don't even need this. I didn't use it. It wasn't helpful. It wasn't income producing. then you know for the next 30 days, scratch that off your list because it was not something that you needed to focus on. Lastly, sharing your DMOs. When you are establishing your daily methods of operations, it's a great idea to share those with additional business partners, teammates. Why? You are going to be able to share with someone else great ideas. You will be able to glean and get great ideas. When you share what your daily methods of operations are, there are going to be things that you may not have thought of that you needed to include in your daily methods, and they may be things that your team is doing well that you want them to share with others. The great part of sharing those daily methods of operations is it's going to be a great way to build team camaraderie. People are going to be able to feel that they have a relationship and a buy-in with your team. When your team has a buy-in together as a united front, they are going to be able to continue to support each other as well as to support you as a leader, because now it is an equal partnership when you are working with your team members. Finally, let's look at the retention rate. When you are working with your daily methods of operations and you are teaching these methods with your business partners as well, they are going to be more successful in their business. The second thing that people are most scared about in this business, remember we talked about the first one is they don't have enough time. The second thing people are most scared about in this business is that they are not going to be successful. As a leader, it is critically important for you to make your team members feel like they can do this, they can be successful, that they are going to kill it in this business. But in order for them to do that, they've got to establish daily methods of operations and routines. When you have business partners that now have created a working schedule and a routine for themselves, they're going to be successful in their business. And you're going to be able to retain more business partners because now they're going to see their business thrive. All right? Hopefully this was helpful to you guys. I will take a few questions. If you have questions about establishing DMOs, I'll be more than happy to answer those for you. I think I am seeing the questions. It was rolling a little bit. I was trying not to read them as I didn't want to get distracted. So if you have questions, I'll take a few questions for you guys on anything that you have about establishing DMOs, what that should look like, or other things that you wanted to include in your DMOs. I'll take questions for those. Alrighty. Any questions? I don't see any. So that means hopefully, now, here's my takeaway for you. Is it possible? They're all possible in your reach, correct? Yes, Blair, that is true. Thank you so much. Thank you. The goal of this training was really to help you guys establish a way that you are going to be more productive in your business. What apps? Calendar. All right. So the app that I use is Google Calendar because I have a Samsung. However, I really just looked on Ipsy and I Googled planners because I wanted a written planner. And so that way I was able to also get a written planner that I can write on. Because on my tablet, it has a pen and I can write on it. What apps do you use for your planner? I use Google Calendar. And then, came in late with you. A DMO is a daily method of operation in order for you to effectively create a routine so that you can be successful in your business in establishing income-producing activities. Can you please do keep your family and business? Hold on one second, looking at questions. What type of planner do you use? What apps do you use? Those are the two that I use. And if you have a Samsung, and Apple has one as well. So all I did when I got my physical calendar is I downloaded it to my Samsung Notes, or you can download it to your Apple Note. They work both ways. And so, great question, Pamela. I'll be able to answer that for you. And so that way you'll be able to write on them. How do you start a DMO? Excellent question. I took a blank sheet of paper And I enabled it Monday through Sunday, all right, or Sunday through Saturday. And then I started writing down what things did I actually want to have accomplished. I focused on sales, recruitment, advertising, communication, team, professional development. And then I start with a pencil, writing in what blocks of time did I think those were going to be effective for me to use. Then once I looked at my calendar, a lot of times I had to look at it and say, this is too much. I can't do all of that on one day. Now I can move it over to another time. So you kind of have to play with it, but I used a blank sheet of paper. I blocked it out for the 7 days. And then I started blocking out hours or 30 minutes or 15 minutes or 5 minutes if you're posting each day until I got an effective working routine and schedule that actually worked for me. All right, let's talk about Scarfer. Yes, thank you, my love. All right. Was it difficult? Is it so difficult to schedule on Facebook? So you can schedule posts on Facebook if you have the business suite, but it only schedules on your business page. All right. Do I work on the weekends? I work my business 7 days a week. I am live 6 days out of the week, so that's also in my DMOs. Sunday, however, I am with my family majority of the day. The only thing I do on Sundays is go live that evening, but my Sundays, I focus on just my family. And then each day, I have different activities that I do for my business. So it's up to you how you choose to establish those days. But as I work in education, so my full-time job is Monday through Friday. All right. Other questions? Did I miss any? I think live schedule successful. Yes. And establishing a live schedule is critical, and posting and advertising about that, because it helps keep you accountable, and your customers are also going to know when to find you. So that's also part of your DMOs. All right. I think I got most of the questions. I think I got most of the questions. Can I see a sample of your DMO? Of course. So here's what that looks like. And I'll pull my calendar up for you. I'll turn it to the side. Alrighty. Hold on. All right, so here's a sample of my DMO. I'll get a little closer, so now I got to stand up. And as you see, any of the yellows are where my social media posts are. You can see where I work on my jewelry room. You can see where I do mail outs. You can see where I do my Shopify because I have an online store. You can see where I take a rest. This is my self-care. All right. And so those are the things that I do to help establish my DMOs. So that's a sample of my DMO personally. And it reminds me of what I'm supposed to be doing. So it's kind of like your personal assistant. Alrighty. Hopefully you guys found this to be helpful. I know Andrea has amazing resources for you guys that also are going to help you think about what should be on your DMOs, writing out a DMO, and then being able to create one in your calendar for yours to be able to be your personal assistant as well. All right. How's your Shopify working for me? I've had Shopify for about 2 years, and so my Shopify does excellent. I get a lot of traction on sales through Shopify, but that is because I schedule time within my DMOs of where I am effectively uploading and promoting my Shopify online store. Okay? Thank you guys for having me. I truly appreciate you guys. You have an amazing leader, and I am telling you, the DMO process works. For me, it started by looking at her DMO process, and it was able to help me establish an effective routine within my business that I was able to see an amazing increase. All right. Thank you guys. I hope you have an amazing day. Keep it coming with the questions, and we will be more than happy to continue to answer those for you. Have a great one.